Hey guys, even here, and this video we are starting with Big Ramy update. I'm not sure. This is something he posted and he didn't really specify if this is recent or not. He usually doesn't do that, but he does look suspiciously conditioned for this time in the year. So I doubt this is recent, but it could be. It could be though, because he was more conditioned for the Mr. Olympia for sure. So this is not his final form when he was completely peeled. And it could be possible that Chad Nichols has him maintaining this kind of conditioning year round because he wants him to be leaner. He could have been leaner at 2020 Mr. Olympia. So it is very possible. And Big Ramy, in order for him to get fat, to get chubby, to get watery, to grow, he needs to eat like an insane amount of food. Insane, crazy amounts of food. So if he just eats big, still big, but clean food and stuff, not too much, with his amount of muscle, his body is burning it like crazy, like a furnace. So I think it's easy for him to maintain high level of conditioning. I'm just not sure if this is exactly how lean can he stay in the off season. If this is him right now in the off season, then that's gonna be a dangerous Mr. Olympia for years to come. If he can actually be this focused and this lean in the freaking off season, like 6 months, half a year out of Mr. Olympia, then yeah, he means business. He's not playing around and it's gonna be hard for anybody, really, to beat him. Tell me though, what do you think? Is this recent? And if you think this is recent, is there anybody who can actually beat Big Ramy if he comes more conditioned next year? Well, the first guy that pops to my mind is Shawn Rhoden for sure, and this is his most recent photo that he posted. I'm not sure if this is recent physique update, it's probably not, because he has veins all over his arms and his shoulders, and he usually does get a little bit chubby in the off season, and I've seen him train in a sweatshirt and so on, and he looks his face looks really chubby, so I think he's just pushing the off season quite a bit, and I don't think he looks like this, because only post before this one was this one, and here he doesn't look that lean, right? So based on this photo right here, this seems like a recent update. That previous one probably isn't exactly recent. So Shawn Rhoden, I heard him talk on Fuad Abiad's podcast, and what he's saying is that he basically said this. So he said most people, when something happened to them, like what happened to him, those allegations, would take it easy with training, would be demotivated and so on. But with him, that's not the case, because he says he's pushing things. He's pushing it hard. He's training really hard. He's pushing the food, and he grows. Like, he got bigger and everything. And he talked to Dan Solomon, that's what he says, and to Jake Wood as well, who basically owns the Mr. Olympia. And he says that there are some interesting conversations, and there is talk about him getting back on that stage. So we would all love to see Shawn Rhoden, 2018 Mr. Olympia, back on the stage. And I think this is the best bodybuilder in the world right now. And he says that he actually is training super hard right now, that he didn't take his foot off the gas pedal. So that tells you that he's going to be better next time we see him on stage, whenever that happens. And I'm hoping it's going to be 2021. What do you guys think? Well, since we're talking about the guys who are in the off season, here is an update of James Hollingshead, who is prepping for his Mr. Olympia debut. So he qualified last year. Later in the year though, he won 2 shows. One of them was qualification for 2020 Mr. Olympia, which he decided to skip. And the other one, it was, I believe, Spain and British Grand Prix. One of those two, I think Spain, was qualification for Mr. Olympia 2021. So he's qualified, and he decided to skip 2020 Mr. Olympia so he can focus entire year on this Mr. Olympia prep. So right now he's in the off season. He's weighing, I believe, about 305 pounds, guys, with a decent conditioning. So he's growing. Now, these guys are not those guys who are really extremely focused, and he keeps growing year after year. And I saw this guy back when I started my channel. I mentioned him in one of my first videos. I think he's like first, second, or third video that I ever made. And I said this guy has huge potential to be a top Mr. Olympia threat. And this is basically what is happening right now. So when he steps on that stage at the Mr. Olympia, I'm having him between 5th and 10th spot. So I can see him cracking the top 6, because every time we saw him on stage, he was far better than the previous time. And last year, he didn't compete at the Mr. Olympia. He competed at 2 shows. He didn't lose to anybody. He won both of those shows. They weren't exactly super competitive, but he looked great. He looked amazing. So if we see him actually better on the Mr. Olympia stage, if he progresses even more, he brings great level of conditioning, and he's gonna be bigger for sure. He's already big enough. Like, he's a huge guy. Top 6 could happen. He could beat like Ian Valier, for example, maybe even Akeem Williams. What do you guys think? What is this guy's potential in Mr. Olympia? Now back to more relevant topics. Here is Justin Luis Rodriguez, 3 to 4 weeks out of New York Pro. So yesterday he posted this shot, front double bicep. Every time he posts a photo of himself, photo update of his physique, he looks more like a real threat to that New York Pro 2021 title. So this is the thing with his physique. I mean, he gets much, much better as he gets leaner. So yesterday he posted this front double bicep. Nobody mentioned it in a video. And so he posted another one a few hours ago. In this one, he looks, this is a better quality photo. It's natural lighting, so you can see clearly what is his body fat percent, what his physique looks like. And what do you think? Is this going to be good enough to beat, for example, Nick Walker or Hassan Mostafa? I don't see it. No, I don't see it. I mean, he's a great bodybuilder. He was always one of the top pros. He competed at the Mr. Olympia as well. He brought good conditioning. I'm sure he's going to be ripped. But as far as the muscle, the amount of muscle that he carries, the shape, how appealing his genetics are, the proportions, the symmetry and everything, he's good. I can't say he's bad, but is he as good as Nick and Hassan? I don't see it at this point. So I can have him in top 3 for sure. And I'm sure, when you look at his physique updates, as he's approaching the show, you're not super impressed. That's usually the case, guys. So let's wait. And I promise you, 2 weeks, 1 week out, you're going to be amazed when he posts crazy ripped photo of himself. I'm sure he's going to be like super, super conditioned. So let's wait and see what happens in the end. But at this point, if I had to make a prediction, I would not predict him winning the show as I thought in the beginning. So now, from what I've seen, I think he's going to be like 3rd place. And right here, you can see what is the shape of Hassan Mostafa. And honestly, I'm not impressed with him as much as I am with Nick Walker. So maybe he decided to give up on the prep, because I don't think he looks very lean for 3-4 weeks out. I don't know. I think it's 3.5 weeks out at this point, and I think he should be leaner at this point. I think he should be more, harder, more ripped. I'm not saying he looks bad. If he is actually prepping, I'm sure he's gonna get the level of conditioning down to a very low body fat percent, and he knows how it works with his body. But earlier, like in his previous shows, he was never super conditioned. And now at 3.5 weeks out, if he actually was bringing some crazy level of conditioning, I think he should be leaner at this point. So I think I do have Nick Walker actually ahead of Hassan at this point. So yeah, here you can see he is big for sure and round and pretty lean, but for 3.5 weeks out, I would expect more. How about you? Just look at Nick Walker right now. Look at the size of his arms and how hard his arms are. Sure, he's training them so they're pumped. Hassan is just having a massage. Of course, he's relaxed. It's not the same. But the size of Nick, the freakiness, the freaky factor that he has right now in the gym, just training there without a tan, it looks really freaking good. It looks really impressive. These arms, wow, they are his probably best feature along with hamstrings. So I'm not sure which is his best body part, but he does have some freaky arms, especially those biceps. So right now, with all the focus that he has, I listen to him at his Fuad Abiad's podcast, which I'm listening to every day, basically, as you can get the idea from how much I'm mentioning it. He said that he's like that type of a bodybuilder that wakes up at the same time, has the meals at the same time, goes to bed early at the same time. So he has that extreme level of commitment. And that's why I believe we can expect him to actually win this show. I think he wants it the most. Finally, we have an update of Sergio Oliva Jr. So we haven't really seen a lot from this guy, not physique updates like this one. And this one has an interesting caption as well. So let me read this one for you. So he says, just imagine him writing this angrily because, yeah, he's an angry guy. He says, "People think because you don't post progress pics on IG, you ain't working. I believe in the old school ways. You want to see what I look like? Then come to show or buy the live feed. Bodybuilding isn't peaking when you look good. It's going on stage and timing it when judges tell you to be ready. 90% of bodybuilder issues is perfecting that timing. The build-up and excitement of what something looks like is what the sport was built of. So just like every show I've ever done, I won't be posting updates, so stop asking. I weighed on stage at the Arnold last year what these cats weigh in their off-season. I think it was about 280. And he says, if you're coming to Chicago Pro for an Olympia qualification, then don't come. Which is basically a message to Hunter Labrada. So he's saying that he's gonna beat Hunter Labrada. And based on this photo right here, I mean, I can say his arms look good. They look probably bigger than the last time I saw him. And the lats as well, but his lats are high. And the waist kind of looks, I mean, it's the angle for sure. It's been taken from below, so his waist looks a little bit bigger than I would like it to be. And is there fat on his lower stomach? I don't think Hunter ever had that in his life. So from this photo right here, I mean, it's not much. He does look great. He's gonna give us a great show, and he's heavy. Like I mean, if he's 280 on stage, how big he is in the off season, like 315, 320, whatever. So he's weighing a lot. I don't know how is he weighing that much. I mean, he weighs like Big Ramy. He's not as big as Big Ramy, so maybe his bones are really heavy. He's a bit taller, but still, I mean, that heavy, I don't know, that's kind of suspicious. Maybe he's lying. I don't know. He doesn't look to be 280 on stage, but that's what he claims. Anyways, he's a big guy for sure. He has a wide frame, like he has a big frame, so he could be very heavy. And standing next to the other guys, he can look bigger, but based on this photo right here, and when he's standing alone, I don't think he has the genetics as good as Hunter. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, he did take that 5th at the Arnold, but Hunter did take the 8th place at the Mr. Olympia. So you tell me who has bigger chances, but based on their updates at this point, I would definitely go with Hunter, but let's wait and see. I'm definitely looking forward very much to Chicago Pro. It's going to be an exciting show as well as New York Pro, but this time we have two sons of two legends of bodybuilding going against each other, and I would love to see this rivalry, to make a new rivalry. Hunter Labrada versus Sergio Oliva Jr. Before I end this video, I wanted to mention this guy and his physique because I was really amazed by it. I mean, take a look at this guy. I don't know who he is. He doesn't really have his name in his description of the Instagram, but you can see his nick. And wow, what a physique, what a potential. I mean, sure, there are some flaws, but the structure, the freak factor, I mean, look at the vacuum and his biceps and everything. Very impressive. I like this physique a lot. And also, I wanted to wish a happy birthday to my idol in the sport, my favorite bodybuilder of all time, Dorian Yates. So happy birthday, Dorian. All the best from Even Bodybuilding. And that's gonna do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you want to see more, subscribe to this channel. All the best, guys, and bye-bye.